complexity, navigating licensing, subscriptions, and maintenance, struggling with cost transparency, optimization, and savings in on-premise and cloud. Meet ZENfra Intelligence, AI-driven innovative solutions for your digital success. Defining the future of on-prem and multi-cloud economics. Revolutionize with a cutting-edge FinOps solution. Simplify data collection. Upload or let ZENfra scan for automatic asset identification. Get reports and visual maps. Identify issues, flag end-of-life equipment, exposes vulnerabilities, highlights risky privileges, and manages licenses. Efficiently manage cloud spending, cut waste in multi-cloud setups, and streamline on-premise environments for a solid hybrid cloud strategy. ZENfra's FinOps solutions serve as an excellent platform for both on-premise and cloud cost savings. This dual approach is crucial for optimizing costs and reducing security risks. Take control of your data center today. Visit our website or call for a free consultation and experience the ZENfra difference with our free trial. ZENfra's 360 approach and data center analysis over cloud migration versus on-prem optimization, and offer tailored migration methods for your needs and cost savings. ZENfra, multi-cloud economics simplified. Cut costs, eliminate risks. A data-driven approach to on-prem and cloud infrastructure decisions.
Good morning, good afternoon. This is Skip Tamke. I'm the Director of Services and Delivery here at VTG ZENfra. We'd like to thank you for joining today and welcome to Cloud Economics. What if cloud isn't working? Also on the team today is Fred Parker, who's your host. Fred, please say hello.
Hey, good morning all. Welcome for the webinar. Thank you so much. Thank you, Skip.
Also joining on the team with us today is Vipin Nair, our Regional Director for our Asia Pacific operations.
Vipin, hi, everyone. Thank you, Skip. Hi, everyone.
Great. So our purpose today is to go over cloud economics, basically to understand when cloud isn't working and what to do if you need to bring it back on premises. We're going to be doing several polls today to get some feedback from you guys on the team, as well as we're going to have a chance to do Q&A at any point during this. If you have a question to ask, please raise your hand, and Fred will acknowledge you. And when we reach a break point, he'll handle getting the question answered for you. So let's jump right in. So, who is looking at repatriation today? And what is repatriation? Let's let the first poll run through here. So while you're looking at that poll, I hope you are having a great day today. It's a beautiful day here in New Jersey, and we're hoping to have more beautiful days this spring and summer coming up. So first off, what is cloud repatriation? Well, very simply, cloud repatriation is the shift of workloads either back on-prem or in a hosted facility from cloud, or from one cloud provider to another cloud provider for a number of reasons. 85% in a recent study of CIOs and IT directors have basically said that, yeah, we're looking at some repatriation. And of those 85%, almost 50% of those people said the primary reason for repatriation is security concerns. There have been so many notable security breaches of data left open and things left behind when they shouldn't be that, some organizations are just trying to understand what data should we be exposing to the cloud and what data really shouldn't be exposed to the cloud. Let's take a quick look at why things are being brought back. So why are companies repatriating? Number one, as I said before, is security. When you start factoring in on-prem costs as well as off-prem costs for cloud as well as on-prem services, that sometimes it doesn't make sense from a security standpoint to leave key data in the cloud. Yes, the cloud providers provide a great level of security, but there are some data that you just don't want to have on the cloud. And companies are seeing that for security purposes, they need to bring things back, either for regulatory purposes or for just standard legal security concerns. Second is cost. It's very easy and cheap to get data to the cloud. But when you start doing growth and when you start having more processing and you need more performance, the cost starts to go up. Third is performance concerns. When you're traversing the public internet, that's out of your control to be able to control the networking and routing and tuning. So, the performance concerns are very valid. Finally, inadequate planning and underutilization and overutilization. Inadequate planning is thinking the old way about migrating your data to the cloud, just doing the old lift and shift approach without redesigning, without thinking about scale, without really understanding the physical and logical dynamics of a mixed infrastructure. And finally, utilization. There are many organizations that have multiple cloud accounts at multiple cloud providers, and multiple departments have their own accounts. And what winds up happening is that if you look at it from an overall perspective, most of those organizations are either overutilizing some of those accounts and they're paying more because they're overutilizing a lower tier. Or when you add it all up, they could make significant savings from being able to utilize a higher tier that is better performing and more cost effective. So what's involved in a repatriation exercise? First is an understanding from a discovery standpoint of all of the various items that are involved within the structure of a cloud environment. Number one is financial. What are we paying? What is the differential between what we're currently paying and what we thought we'd be paying when we first made the move 6, 8, 10, 12 months, a year ago? Second is networking, understanding how our networking can handle bringing stuff back from the cloud. If you've scaled back on your networking resources, you need to start thinking about that. Performance, what parts of our application stack in our business are necessary to become on-prem for performance reasons, be it a high OLTP application, heavy user involvement, or it's just a matter of performance where you just need less latency. And finally, application dependencies. You have to understand what applications, both on-prem and in the cloud, are dependent upon each other, and make sure that you've captured everything within an application dependency stack to account for when you're either bringing it back or moving it to another provider, so that you can understand the impact upstream and downstream to other applications. Planning. If you're bringing it back in-house, you've got to make sure you've got the physical infrastructure, either on your own prem or in a hosted infrastructure, making sure you've got floor space, making sure you've got power, cooling, rack space. You've got to worry about, if you're going to be doing AI processing, the additional water cooling that's necessary for a high performance GPU-based CPUs. Second is networking, making sure that you're planning your network effectively to be able to get as low latency as possible, and that you have the access to all of the resources without having to do excessive routing. Finally, building migration groups is very, very important. Understanding what elements of an application have to move together, what can move separately, what the prerequisites are, where they go upstream and downstream. And finally, user buy-in. The users have to understand what is going to be done, how it's going to be done, and what their role is in helping to build the plan and then helping to validate the move once it has been completed. Finally, you've got migration. That is the nitty-gritty of making it happen. Some of the important elements there are change control. If your organization is an organization that has a long lead time for change control windows, or you have very limited change control windows or no change control windows, that's very important to understand that. Second is the initial synchronization, basically defining the connection from where it's coming from to where it's going, and getting those two elements in sync, so that every change that's made in the cloud environment is made in the on-prem or other cloud environment, so that you have near real-time synchronization between the two. Then you've got cutover, making sure that all of the elements of that cutover are correct on the day that the migration actually occurs. Any IP addresses that have to change that have changed, DNS, routing, anything to do with security is necessary to look at it cut over. Finally, user checkout is super important because the users have to be able to get to their applications, and their applications have to function the same or better than they did before. And then day one support is just being around on the first business day to be able to troubleshoot, back out, and resolve any issues that occur. And finally, a very important thing is post-migration monitoring, checking performance, checking capacity, making sure the user experience is what it needs to be, and checking out that the finances are trending in the direction that you were intending them to trend. So making sure that when you've vacated the cloud, that those cloud licenses are either downgraded or canceled. Making sure that your on-prem costs are tracking to what you expected them to be, and they're not in a serious overrun situation. Fred, this is a good time for the next poll. Fred, you there? Can you run the next poll? Thank you.
Yes, Skip, we have launched the next poll.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. So what is the FinOps approach to repatriation? Rather than just looking at this as a purely technical exercise, we look at it as an organizational exercise, and that organizational exercise is multifaceted, and I'm going to go through a little bit of that. So this graphic is from the FinOps Foundation, and it basically defines everything with respect to FinOps and the cloud. First of all, you've got the overriding principles of collaboration, ownership, centralized teams, reporting, rapid decision making, and taking advantage of the various cost models of the cloud as well as on-prem. And who participates in these exercises? Well, a FinOps practitioner, CIOs, IT directors from the executive side, business and product owners from the business side, finance, of course, for tracking all of the financial application work, engineering and operations, the guys that make the actual work happen, and finally procurement, making sure that all of the contracting is correct and making sure that everything is in order. And the phases of a FinOps exercise, it's really an ever turning circle, if you will. Inform, optimize, and operate. Understand the data, optimize the usage, and then operate and run the system once you've got it in a good financial and optimized state. Any questions so far on where we've been? Okay, moving on. So why does it matter? Here's the why it matters, and once again, this is from Gartner, Forrester, and IDC. First thing is identification of costs and alerting of cost overruns. That can help you see up to a 30% reduction in IT spending surprises. Why? Because you'll be gathering that data and looking at it and analyzing it in a central repository on a regular basis, rather than waiting until someone says, wow, why is our cloud bill double what it was last year? Second, readily accessible contract information. Our solution imports all contract information into the same database as the technical information. And that can do a significant reduction in costs through better negotiation and better visibility. Automated contract tracking and expiry notifications. You may be able to spend half the amount of time in managing contracts because it's all going to be in one place, and you're going to be getting alerts and notification for when your contracts are due to be renegotiated. Identifying unused licenses and optimizing your SaaS subscriptions. We can result in a 20% reduction on average by making sure that you are not underutilizing your resources. Precise cost predictions for on-prem as well as for cloud environments. We pull in all of the cost factors for both on-prem and cloud into the same database, so we can measure technical against finance against contracting. And finally, you can see a 35% savings on cloud and on-prem costs by right-sizing your instances, choosing the most cost-effective providers, the right subscriptions, as well as making sure that your on-prem infrastructure is sized appropriately to handle the workload. And once again, that you're not underutilizing your resources. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to go into how ZENfra can assist with this method of repatriation. Take a break here again, once again, if anyone has any questions. Vipin, anything you'd like to add so far?
I think pretty much, Skip, I can completely agree with what you rightly mentioned. The factors, what you mentioned about the security, cost, and other things. It's just not about the technology exercise, as you rightly pointed out. It's just looking at 360-degree from both sides, right? Whether on-premises versus cloud, cloud versus on-premises. Yes, bang on.
Great. So the ZENfra FinOps solution really promotes a precise cost-saving strategy, like resizing multi-cloud, transitioning to cloud from premises, and coming back on-prem, basically by calculating potential savings. So now we're going to get into how we can boost business value. So first off, we inform, optimize, and operate with ZENfra. We basically do asset discovery in an automated fashion, contract maintenance, cost optimization savings. That comes into our AI ML engine, and it comes out with recommendations for you as a customer, you as a reseller, you as an OEM, to provide business value to your company by being proactive in gathering the data and understanding the costs, performance, and utilization structure. So how do we do this? We have an automated discovery method that we use via API that discovers your data within the data center and in your cloud, as well as we have a portal for you to upload contract and maintenance data so that we can do a full 360-degree view of everything to do with your on-prem and cloud cost structure. How do we do that? Well, we work with an optimization management and tracking. We look at cost-effective migration methods. We look at device compatibility. We look at contract value optimization. And we look where things are deviating from the estimates that you have. And we flag those red, yellow, green so that you know what areas you need to look at and dig into to figure out how you can optimize your cost and as well as maintenance structure. We're going to make cost optimization recommendations. We're going to recommend on-premises optimization. Once again, if you've got under or overutilized capacity, we'll make recommendations either to move things around, to upgrade, to increase performance, or to actually tune things to make them run better. We'll also do the same with cloud optimizations with respect to performance, cost, and capacity tiers. Looking at hybrid cloud transformation from on-prem to cloud. Looking at multi-cloud transformation, understanding where you might be doing better as a company if you went with a different cloud provider or you went with multiple cloud providers that provide different price points and different capacity points and different utilization points based on what your application structure looks like. And finally, assisting you by giving you the data to assist in negotiation and gathering discounts. If you've got an organization, we did an assessment late last year for a sports organization. And we found out that in this sports organization, which was a Major League Baseball team, they had 37 different cloud accounts with 12 different cloud providers that were being paid for. And only 6 of those 37 were coming out of the IT account budget. And the IT team only knew about those 6. When we did the discovery and spoke with all of the various stakeholders, we found out that they were paying 4 or 5 times as much for their cloud infrastructure than they thought they were. They also had a lot more data in the cloud than they thought they did. And most importantly, a good portion of that data that was outside IT's control was not properly secured. So it was open for the taking. Luckily there was no personally identifiable information. There was no corporate secrets in there. It was mostly video data as well as statistical data to do with the team. But when you have an organization such as that has that much data exposed that they didn't know about, it was an eye opener, and it led to consolidation of all of the cloud accounts under IT control. It led to consolidation of all of the cloud accounts into one account per provider, and it also did an increase in performance for the highest performance need, which was video. And it was a very, very successful exercise from the standpoint of the customer. So what do we do with cost analysis and asset inventory? We provide a granular view. We do everything from the CIO level with graphs and high-level dashboards, all the way down to the department view, a provider view, account-wise view, and regional view within the organization. And we also apply AI analytics. I'm sorry about my mouth is a little dry. AI analytics to cost allocation, cost drivers, variance analysis, reduction initiatives. Basically, we work with our customer to provide a custom set of business rules around financial and technical metrics so that we can help them to flag what's meaningful to them in their organization. So, it's not a one size fits all. We customize a lot of the parameters within the tool for each customer to make sure that we're giving them the outcome that they look for. Contract lifecycle. We help you build a centralized repository of all contracts with key contract data in there. Capacity, utilization, performance, cost, tiers in there. We also bring in hardware warranties, support agreements, software licenses, maintenance agreements, connections, dependencies of assets and contracts, compliance monitoring of contracts, as well as financial and service expirations. And finally, we also provide for customers that wish it alerts on license expiry and end of life, such as M365 licenses, SaaS licenses, cloud accounts, support accounts, as well as those kind of things. So what do you get from the result of this? One, you get recommendations for on-premises optimization. How can you do things better within your walls? 2, cloud optimization, right-sizing instances, making sure you're not that you don't have underutilized resources or you don't have overutilized resources. On-prem hybrid cloud transformation, helping you as a customer to identify workloads that would make sense to either bring back to a private cloud or to migrate from private cloud up into a public cloud. Contract negotiations and discounts, assisting you with negotiations with your customer by providing you valid financial data as well as performance data to understand where you have the ability to negotiate a better deal with your providers. And finally, cloud multi-cloud transformation. We also help you compare the pricing structure between vendors and subscription levels on the cloud transformation, as well as comparing those to the on-prem costs of stuff that currently exists on site that has less utilization. So you may be able to actually save a considerable amount of money and complexity by bringing things back because you've got unused capacity sitting on the floor. Optimization management and tracking. We prioritize migrating compatible devices and we look at lifecycle management. Once again, the AI that we have built into this understands the operating system platform, the hardware platform, as well as hypervisors that are in use both on-prem and in the cloud. And we, as part of a migration exercise, first check compatibility to make sure that the operating system is supported, to make sure the version of the operating system is supported, to make sure that the hypervisor has the capabilities of doing what you need to do when you bring it back or move it out. We assist with automated resource management and alert-based optimization. So we help to eliminate deviations from cost and performance estimates. We define the most cost-effective migration methods that reduce downtime and maintain sustainability and help you with project management. And finally, on the contract side, we track the contract from initiation to execution and closure. We look at warranties. We help you negotiate bulk discounts. We help you right-size licensing as well within the tool. Any questions? So the other services that we offer through
Skip,
yes.
we have a question from
Sure.
Fanny. So he was asking, so what is the average time in days or weeks to complete this type of analysis and engagement?
The type of the time to do an engagement like this, varies based on the size of the organization and the complexity of the organization. But in general, we generally accomplish discovery within 2 calendar weeks, and then we perform the analysis and produce a result within 2 weeks after that. So a normal engagement runs 4 to 5 weeks. If it's a much bigger organization with more complexity that requires a lot more person-to-person conversation rather than being able to get a data dump, it could take longer. But on average, plan for 4 weeks. Any follow-up, Fanny?
Nope. Thank you
Great.
so much, Skip.
Thank you. So what are the takeaways that we would like you to think about as we end this presentation? Is one, cost management and asset inventory challenges have grown exponentially in a multi-cloud world and an on-prem and multi-cloud world. Cost optimization is ever more important these days because you want to get every bang out of every penny you spend on your infrastructure. And 3, contract and maintenance management has always been an issue for any data center. I've been working in data centers, as you can probably tell from seeing me on screen, for a good long time. My data center expertise goes back to punch cards. And it's always been a slog getting through contracts and maintenance management. Back in the old days of mainframes, you had one provider, and it was kind of easy because everything was on the same contract. Now, when we're talking about multi-tenancy, multi-cloud hosted environments, it's only increased exponentially. And having one place to put all of your contracts and maintenance agreements makes a lot of sense, especially when you can integrate that with your CMDB, your device inventory, as well as your applications and application dependencies. It's super important to do that. So the key takeaways that we would like to do is think about utilizing a FinOps approach next time, or currently if you're involved in it, in deciding where your data and applications are going to live. 2, take a look at our website, ZENfra.ai. We've got a lot of informative content out there about everything ZENfra can do, which is a heck of a lot more than FinOps. And 3, think about the cost savings that utilizing a common tool to bring everything together into one place can do for you. So next steps. One of our sales team is going to be following up with each one of you to talk about see what you thought about the webinar, to find out, where you're going on your cloud journey. And we'd like a follow-up meeting where one of our experts can talk to you about, how we can help you, and basically just an understanding of where you're at in the journey. 2, product demo. ZENfra is an amazingly useful tool, and we would love to show you any one of the paths through it. And 3, and when we get to that point, we can work through a proposal and figure out, how at a very detailed level we can assist you in understanding at first your multi-cloud environment, and then how we can help you optimize that both from a performance, utilization, and financial standpoint. And here's our information. Fred is going to be sharing a copy of this presentation. I'm on slide 24 here of 33. The rest of the slides are screenshots and videos and demos of everything that ZENfra can do. So in your free time, I know not a whole lot of us have a lot of free time, but in your free time, take a look at those other slides and take a look at the depth and breadth of what our FinOps solution is inside ZENfra. I'd like to open it up at this point for questions. Fred, if you can open the mics and see if anyone has any questions or comments, I'd appreciate that.
Sure, Skip, I will open the mics.
Vipin, anything you'd like to add to sum it up?
I think pretty much everything what, from a capability standpoint, from a ZENfra as a tool, is being covered. So I just want to add one point here. So you can think of ZENfra as a data lake where you have all sort of data coming in there. You can have different kinds of devices in your environment. You can have your CMDB, your user informations, your lot many other licenses, subscriptions, what you have. It can act as a repository for all that information for you, and then it has that AI ML capability. What probably you heard it from Skip. You can create your own ways of making your migration plans, strategies, run books, you name it. So you have all those configurable policy engines and capabilities in it, which makes your seamless migration really, really possible, right? And that too in a very, very cost efficient manner, and where you can get really, really an outcome driven approach through ZENfra. So, and I think once you get through this, it's a good idea to go through all the slides, what we have, probably go through the videos, what we have, visit our website. We have a LinkedIn page. I would request you to follow that LinkedIn page where we would be periodically posting all these webinars. We conduct webinars in different areas. One is about FinOps, repatriation, cyber resiliency. You can think of everything what you can think of under data center, right? So your inventory assessments. We probably will have dedicated sessions for some of the real good use cases you may have, right? A particular use case if you want. I think that would be more curated to use case. And if you have any suggestions or anything which you would like to see in the future webinars, we would like to incorporate that also so that we can cater to the requirements what you have. And keep watching the space, keep watching for these emails coming in. And we would like to hear your feedbacks and suggestions to improvise on this, the way we are doing webinars as well. So look forward to connect with you when our folks reach out to you. Let us know where you are in this journey. And if you need any assistance, we would be more than happy to connect with you, go over everything what you need to do, make your life easier when it comes to your cloud economics, repatriation, your FinOps, your data assessment, cleansing, standardizations. So we are there to help you out. That's all, Skip. I just want to add on.
Great, thank you, Vipin. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. I believe the mics are open.
Yeah, the mics are open. So anyone have a question, so you can unmute and have a conversation with us. Thank you.
Yeah, if you would like to communicate with us, outside the webinar, please look Vipin and I up on LinkedIn, and we would be happy to engage with you one-on-one. I guess no questions. Folks, I'd really like to thank you for your time. It was a pleasure sharing our capabilities with you, and we look forward to engaging with each and every one of you on a, potential to assist. Okay, Fred, I think if we have no questions, we can give everybody back a little bit of time.
Yeah, so folks, we have shared Vipin's and Skip's LinkedIn ID. So if you'd like to connect, you can connect with them through LinkedIn. And also we will be sharing the video of this presentation and also the PPT presentation to you guys shortly. And we have another 15 minutes. If anyone has any questions, you can unmute and have a conversation with us. We are open over here.
And by the way, if you want to post some questions, you can definitely post it, and then we can take it during the conversations. Or if you have any challenges, unmuting yourself, you can probably put those questions in the chat. We will be happy to assist you on that. We can stay here for about maybe a couple of more minutes for you if you're in that process of thinking what could be your questions. Otherwise, pretty much, Skip, if I'm not wrong, so we're pretty much done in terms of sharing what we want to share for today. We're open up for questions.
Yes, yeah, we've reached the Q&A portion of the of the morning or the afternoon, depending upon where you are. Okay, so if there are no questions, I guess Fred will close it out, and we'll once again thank you very much and look forward to seeing you on the next one of these.
Thank you, Skip, for these
Thank you,
great
everyone.
insights.
Yeah,
And
thank you, Skip.
everyone.
Thank you, Vipin. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining.
Have a wonderful rest of the week, folks.